Can a person with BPD revalue you? Hi there, my name is ajmahari, and I have 33 years of experience helping people heal and recover from BPD, NPD, relationship breakups, relationship types of all sorts, and also recovering from codependency, and many other things as well. Please check out my website at ajmahari.ca. There will be new information coming up there, much more in depth on BPD, NPD, ASPD, sadistic personality, which they haven't put in the DSM, dark triad, dark tetrad, what's up with BPD and this supposed, secondary psychopathy, or now they're supposed to be like covert borderlines, malignant borderlines. So much going on online that really, is it helping you? Maybe it is. But if you'd like to hear more in-depth and some inside-out explanations to a degree, then please check out ajmahari.ca for that, much more. And if you'd like to book a session with me, you can also do that at ajmahari.ca. Can a person with BPD revalue you after they devalue you? My answer is no, they absolutely can't revalue you, because once they've split you to devaluation, something that happens really often, really quickly, and is more the default position of somebody untreated with BPD relating to anyone else. Once the devaluation, the major devaluation split has happened, in that honeymoon phase, if you even got one, lots of people reporting to me now in client work, I never even got the honeymoon phase, because BPD is morphing, and I'll have more coming on that at ajmahari.ca. What do I mean by that? What are some of the things that are morphing about it, and how can it truly be accurately explained? But so, people with BPD cannot revalue you. And can it seem like they do sometimes? If you recycle the relationship, you hoover, they answer, they hoover, you answer. It can seem like it, but you don't go back through that initial idealization phase. And even though you might be really being guided by your emotions, you want this person back, you want this relationship, you still think this is the person for you. I had so many clients say something similar to this to me, right? Or exactly these words. Well, everything was going so well, and I really loved her. I still love her or him, but I have to say this from the man's perspective. Because I work with more men, and this is important. I really still love her, and just the other day or last week, or if it happened a month or two, and then they book a session with me, they'll say, well, the last night that she was with me, everything was fine, and we had a nice dinner, we talked, we were talking about having kids, we were talking about getting married. It was great. It was like, this is what I was hoping for. This is my dream person. And then, we spent a nice night together, maybe some physical intimacy, because borderlines certainly don't do emotional intimacy. And everything was wonderful. We cuddled, we fell asleep. It was bliss. And then the next day, all of a sudden, I don't know, we got up and she was in a bad mood, or if they weren't in a bad mood right away, they get in a bad mood within a few hours kind of thing. And she said it was over, or they up and left, or I've been discarded, I've been ghosted. Is this a discard? I don't know what's going on. And like our last day together, that night, I fell asleep. I'm like, this is the woman of my dreams, and I'm going to marry her, and we're going to have kids. And then they're gone. What are you supposed to do with that? It's so painful, so agonizing, and yet the question of so that's a devaluation, right? They're triggered to that devaluation split, and they're gone, ghosting or discarding, maybe in a patterned way, maybe for the first time, maybe it's like you don't know if this is going to be a pattern, or they're just gone. And it makes no sense to people, because everything was great. What could have happened? Well, that's the BPD fleeing from the relationship when they have engulfment fears and engulfment anxiety. And so could they maybe reapproach you in time, each in their own time, when that engulfment fear and anxiety that overwhelmed them, that led them to take off, can they reapproach you Yes, but it's going to be because now they're fearing abandonment. Now they feel like you abandoned them, even though they took off because of engulfment anxiety. But most people with BPD untreated don't know this. They don't know consciously what they're feeling or why or what they're doing or why. Some will describe out there on YouTube and other places what they think it's from and why they do it in a very way that they justify it, and they don't think about the other side of the equation, right? Because this is what people with BPD untreated do. And what does treated mean, right? It takes 18 to 16 years for these people to recover. And that's if they're in the best modalities for recovery, which include mentalization-based treatment, transference-focused psychotherapy, the number one, in my humble opinion, and schema therapy. But DBT is not a recovery modality. And a lot of people have somebody with BPD in their lives going to DBT. I'm not saying it doesn't have any efficacy. Of course it does. But a lot of people with BPD do not engage it in a way that will be really healing and really helpful. It's not a recovery modality, but help people to really engage those skills, which can help with relating. Doesn't really change relationships, though, not in a year, not in 2 years kind of thing. But a lot of people with BPD are learning some things, and then they'll drop out of DBT, for example, and then they weaponize what they've learned. So is this person with BPD ever going to, even if they come back, if you're back together now, things seem great, are they going to revalue you? No. And how can I be so sure? Not only 33 years worth of work with clients and etc. education and all, whatever, and a whole lot more. I can say no categorically, understanding that this is the answer. And why? Because people with BPD never valued you in the first place, which is really painful for people to hear, depending where you're at, and you likely have codependency. And so they can't revalue you after devaluation because they didn't really ever see you or hear you or understand the difference between their lack of self and you, their feelings and your feelings. Your feelings never get on the table, or hardly ever, and not really to the person with BPD do they really ever consider your feelings, because they're too busy with all the emotionality they're drowning inside with that they don't even understand or have conscious awareness of. And that's how come you get blamed for it all too. So they can't revalue you, even if they haven't discarded or ghosted you. That major split to devaluation, there's no coming back from that. And so many people are hurting for so long, believing that if you get back together, or if you continue with the relationship, that is, you're losing yourself and it's agony and there's nothing there for you. It's a codependent rescuing, enabling, giving, over-giving, trying to do everything for them. And they don't appreciate it, and they don't take it in, and it doesn't last, and they experience that as engulfing, and you just can't win. And no good deed will go unpunished sooner or later. So you cannot be revalued because you were never valued. And in the idealization phase, I'll try to link a couple videos under this that I've done ages ago. In the idealization phase, it's not what you think it is. It's not what you experienced. It's not how wonderful it felt. It was way too good to be true. But you might still be in the cognitive dissonance, and you still are, in this unhealthy bond with them, even if you never talk to them again. And the bottom line is, they never valued you. They never saw you in idealization. What does idealization really mean? I have a few videos up here going to go deeper at ajmahari.ca coming soon. Please just keep checking the website. More is going to appear, and it will be obvious somewhere for you what's new. But here's the thing. So they have never, please hear these words. They might hurt. I apologize for that. I'm here to help, not hurt. And I'm not here to work with you if I resonate with you. But people with BPD in idealization never, that's not really what people have come to explain it as meaning. They don't see you. They don't attach to you. They don't know how to love you. And yet, idealization feels like everything the opposite of what I just said. Then comes a big split to devaluation at some point. And you're not going to be able to be revalued because you were not valued even in idealization. And I know that this is not what people want to hear, but again, my mission here is to provide information that can help people to choose healing and recovery, working with me if I resonate with you, or working with someone else. Be careful who you choose in general. And I'm here to say what you need to hear. Not that I'm here to tell you all what you need, right? But you need to hear that you've never been valued by that person with BPD, not the way you thought, not consistently, not for who you really are. And that's not your fault. It's not like there's something wrong with you, why that never happened. It's the struggle internally that people with BPD are going through that I'm going to be sharing more about on ajmahari.ca too, because here's one thing I can assert with a lot of confidence, and it's sad really, but so many people out there, YouTube, online, even some people with BPD, but they haven't healed to the point where they don't understand, they don't have enough awareness yet. And then there are some other professionals out there, and there's some other people with BPD who might be helpful to listen to here and there. But I'm not saying that everybody else isn't helpful at times. But here's the one thing that most other people out there providing information can't give you, that I can give you, that I'm going to give, I give to my clients a lot of help with, and I will have more information coming at ajmahari.ca as well, is what's really going on inside your borderline. I can help you understand that to the nines, because I was once there, and no, I didn't have it as severely, and no, I'm like, whatever I went through decades ago is not like the same as every person with BPD. But thematically speaking about the core of what's at BPD and what's going on and why they are relationship impossibilities, I know what a lot of that feels like. First person from way back before I recovered, because that really happened. It was assessed by professionals, not me. So if you want to know more about that, you could work with me to find out more, and or watch ajmahari.ca for more information coming. Though working one-to-one, I can be much more effective with people. If there was enough people that would email me, if you want a group process, be happy to do that. If I get enough people to be able to do that with, so that then the price can go down a bit for people that want to work with me. So the key thing is, when other people out there are describing to you how the borderline feels, why the borderline did this and that, because they felt this, they felt that, ooh, they thought you were going to destroy them and they're out to destroy you. No. And I want to share a lot more, as I do with my clients, about why nobody who hasn't been there from the inside out really can talk so specifically about what these people are feeling and what is motivating them. And a lot of you out there don't really want to hear what's motivating them, because it tells a story when the information is accurate, what's motivating people with BPD. It really reinforces what I'm saying here to you today. It tells the story of how you're not seen, how you're not heard, how you were never loved, how they don't attach to you, and all the whys and wherefores, and that you were never valued in the first place. So no borderline untreated. And I'm going to talk more about where's that line, and you know, recovery, untreated, treated, because a lot of people with BPD have been in therapy for a lot of years, but they're not having success. And I'm working with a lot of clients now who have exes, or they're just about to become exes of people with BPD who've been in treatment, but it isn't working. They're not changing, and they're not growing, sometimes after 5 years or 7 years. So I have to be very careful in how I parse what does treatment mean, because just because your borderline is in treatment doesn't mean you're going to get yielding anything back in any time soon without more damage to you in the relationship, because therapy does not save relationships. Codependent going to therapy doesn't save the relationship, and both the BPD going to their own therapy, or narcissists, some do, or codependents going to their own therapy, not going to save the relationship. And please hear me when I say this. They do not revalue. So even if they come back, you've been ghosted, discarded, come back, they do not revalue you because they never valued you in the first place. And this is a tragedy, because this is not something that people with BPD are doing to you on purpose, but it happens, and it's not tenable to go forward trying to love someone, believing that you do love someone or loving someone, that your love is healthy when you're getting zero back. Because healthy relationships, have mutuality and reciprocity. People see and hear each other and they attach to each other. And remember, BPD is disorganized attachment. It's not avoidant or anxious avoidant. And that isn't the major aspect of what people with BPD have to deal with anyways. It's in the mix. But the thing is, disorganized attachment, I would suggest to you and forward to you, is really, in the case of people with borderline personality disorder, untreated, or unless until successfully really well treated, it is an inability to attach. It's not like you need to go to couples counseling and you as the codependent, maybe you're anxious or avoidant attachment style, and the borderline is, it's disorganized and really means they can't attach to you. And then that's going to work. No. And in fact, so many clients coming to me recently, and of course over the years, that they have been in couples counseling. They've seen 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 different therapists over like years. And the person with BPD in and out of treatment, but not really engaging it. They haven't maybe had enough of their own treatment to heal codependency and understand all this from the inside, where in codependency where it's very painful. And couples counseling is really not recommended for people who are with somebody with BPD or NPD untreated, because they need their own therapy and they need to do their own work and they need to find themselves. So you are never going to be valued by that person with BPD who maybe is your world right now or was your world and you want that world back. But that world negates your existence. That world negates your needs. They can't revalue you because they never were able to value you. And all that you have given or might still be giving and rescuing and overgiving and abandoning yourself for, they're not receiving consistently. They don't trust. They don't believe in. And you're not getting anything back. You're getting depleted. And people wonder, how come I don't know who I am anymore? And am I a borderline now or a narcissist because I was with a borderline or a narcissist? Like, because you lost yourself. Because when you started this relationship and you're carrying the legacy and what it means to have codependency in your life, you never began this relationship in a way that you were consciously understanding, and you couldn't know what was going to happen, but you didn't know enough about yourself. And that's what the healing recovery journey is about, along with recovering from BPD or NPD relationship breakups. So you will not and you cannot be valued again by a borderline who ghosted or discarded, or you broke up or they broke up and now you're trying to get back together. And after the split to devaluation, the major split, are you ever, let alone all the other ones that will come, are you ever going to be revalued? No, they never valued you in the first place. These people don't have a self. And if you don't have a self, you can't value yourself. And if you can't value yourself, you can't value anyone else. And that's just simple brass tacks reality. And I know it's painful for so many people out there. Out here to work with you. If I resonate with you, hope that was helpful. It might be painful. I apologize for that. But this is what you need to consider more. It's what you need to hear if you're going to make different choices to be able to help yourself out of all this agony, lostness, self-sacrifice, and abandonment. And for what at the end of the day? No matter how it feels, ask yourself logically, for what at the end of the day, or the end of the month, or the end of 10 cycles, or 15 or 20 relationship recycles that just have no chance to succeed or be healthy or work out. And please, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the all notification bell, hit the like button if you found this content helpful, and I apologize if you found it maybe kind of helpful, but you didn't really like it because it hurts. I really just want to try to reach more people to help them to realize that you need to get into a healing recovery process now, because you need help to understand what's going on for you so you can make healthier choices for yourself. And people with codependency, you're following your feelings around a heck of a lot too. Your feelings and your dreams, and you don't know who you are exactly emotionally, interrelatingly, as a codependent. You might have a very successful career, and you might know a lot about yourself. But in relationships, if I had a nickel for every time some client in over 33 years has said, the rest of my life is working really great, but in relationships, I just keep getting, so hurt, damaged, wounded, I don't understand. And then obviously more and more people know that it's somebody with BPD or NPD they were with, or maybe ASPD. But for people with codependency, the relationship arena has its own, very difficult bumps, and kind of like you're used to drama in some ways, maybe unconscious. It has all these unconscious kind of like traps in there that people, even after relationship breakup, ghosting, being discarded, still want to hope against all hope. And that's codependent denial. And you don't need to help. You think you're trying to help yourself out to get back with that person, but you're really just hurting yourself. And you need to understand more about, what do you mean by that, right? So you can also check ajmahari.ca if you want to purchase, book sessions with me. I'll be more than happy to work with you and help you in this process. And you make your own decisions about if you're going no contact, if this is it for you or not. I don't tell clients what to do. I just want to help you in any way I can in whatever iteration of all this you're in. But remember, you will not be revalued by a person with BPD. You weren't even valued in the idealization phase. Take care.